Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Day 2 just wrapping up here at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. The tight ends are going right now. No Hurricanes in this one, but defensive backs just wrapped up. And safety Jacobe Thomas did do the position drills. He didn't do the testing, and then Keontae Scott didn't do either. So these guys are going to do their full participation at Miami's Pro Day on March 23rd. But with Jacobe Thomas, look, it was just a disappointing performance. He had 4 drops that I counted during the individual position drills. Then he goes through the gauntlet, obviously a popular drill there, running through it. Had a couple drops there and then slipped at the end. So just not a good performance by Jacobe. Disappointing with how it went. But, coming into it, he was considered the 10th best safety according to NFL.com. And also the season he had was really good. Obviously very productive, highly productive for a very successful defense, and he was a big reason why. So I think just kind of knowing Jacobe and kind of just his background as an underrated guy going to Middle Tennessee and then going to Tennessee and then obviously starring at Miami, I think he's going to be able to bounce back from today's performance, but it just didn't go well for him, and it happens at times. And, it's a very competitive group with the safeties. The ones that ran today in the 40s, very fast times up and down the board. So it's a very competitive group, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Jacobe does bouncing back in a few weeks at Pro Day. And he's been working out in Fort Lauderdale there, so we'll see how he does. And it was good talking to Jacobe. So yesterday, the defensive backs spoke to the reporters, and then today they have their workouts. And, Jacobe talked a lot about, just how much Miami's defense really helped him. Coach Heatherman, he really said Coach Heatherman really helped him a lot with the pre-snap reads, and really it felt like that is where he kind of grew the most with his game this season, his last year there in college. So I think that was good. It was good to hear that. And also Coach Harris, a guy that's been a big help to him as well. And he's looking forward to seeing how the next group of guys do with Poyser and Fitzgerald there filling in and stepping up. He thinks both of them are going to have good seasons. So good to kind of hear from Jacobe there. And then also today, the way it works, once again, you do interviews in the morning. So today it was Carson Beck and CJ Daniels. And Carson said he's planning on throwing tomorrow. He's planning on going through it. So that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does out here. And he's certainly vying to kind of be one of those top quarterbacks. And, everybody kind of assumes, Fernando Mendoza, the top quarterback off the board, obviously. And then Ty Simpson, too. But who's going to be that third quarterback off the board? And Carson's kind of in the names and the contention for it. So I think a good performance at the Combine would do well for him. And look, he talked about some of the interviews he's already done. He said the New York Jets was his first team that he did a formal interview with, and he did mention a few other teams. And the way it works is, he spoke to reporters for about 15 minutes, and reporters who cover other teams, they just, ask him, have you met with this team? So he did say that he has met with the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. He named those 2 teams in particular. And kind of a note with the Browns, with Todd Monken, he's a guy that Carson has known, obviously, from back to Georgia. But he said he's known Coach Monken since he was 7, 8 years old, playing with his son on a baseball team. So he said, obviously, it would be good to kind of reunite with him. But, Carson said the interviews have gone well, and he feels like they've all gone well, but you don't know the feedback because you're in a room with about 20 staff members from the NFL team. But he felt like he was doing a good job of explaining himself and talking ball and those kinds of things, which is good. So good to hear how Carson's doing, and Carson had really positive things to say, obviously, like he's done all season about Malachi Toney. It feels like, from day one, he knew he was going to be great, and really looking forward to his career moving forward. And then Mark Fletcher and his playoff run. He said Mark's a guy that he got to know pretty well because they were close together at the locker room. So he's excited for those two and the Hurricanes' future moving forward. And obviously he's hoping Darian Mensah, has another great season like he had. And then obviously with Cam Ward kind of just continuing this tradition, really good quarterback play at Miami the last few years. CJ Daniels also spoke today, and it doesn't sound like he's going to do the testing during his workouts for receivers tomorrow, but he does seem like he's going to be able to do that. He does want to do the position drills, so we'll see. We'll just kind of wait and see. And the way it works is we get here and then we get the official announcement from the announcer if they're going to participate in either running, the testing, or just do position drills. So we'll wait and see. But CJ's a guy that has to really kind of make a mark out here. I think whether it's here or the Pro Day, just kind of, it's a very competitive group with the wide receivers, and so I think that would be good for him to be out here at least for the position drills. And again, just a reminder, one of the reasons why some of these guys aren't participating, and they've all alluded to this, as well as Indiana players, but just the length of the season, they've not really been training for this, for the draft, for the pro day, for the combine, as long as that they would like. So they just want a little extra time to do that. And actually, it makes sense. And I heard another player from a different team kind of saying how this process has been essentially transitioned to being a track athlete. You learn all the techniques of running fast and going through those things. I find it very interesting this time of year how the football guys are certainly looking to press with their times that they put up, and they want to do everything perfect. So they kind of a little bit of a transition, and I think that's one of the reasons. But all these guys, they know the importance of pro day. It should be a big pro day for Miami with all these guys, and we'll see how it rounds out. So with where we're at, tomorrow's interview is going to be with the offensive lineman, Francis Maui-Noa, Inez Cooper, and Markel Bell, and those three guys are scheduled to work out on Sunday, which will wrap up the combine week with the 10 Hurricanes that are here. And just a couple more notes before I wrap this up. It's been good seeing former Hurricane Reggie Wayne out here. He's been working with the NFL Network and helping with their combine broadcast, and it's been fun kind of hearing him talk these last couple of days. And he said yesterday, kind of just made it a point during his draft process that he spoke with all the teams except for one. He said Indianapolis he did not have an interview with, and sure enough, and he pointed up, and I could see his name up in the rafters here for everything that he was able to do for the Colts organization. So that's been good. Also ran into Greg Olson, which was good. And, I spent some time at the NCAA headquarters. I popped over there, checked out the Hall of Champions, and just kind of saw the setting there as the headquarters is here, obviously, in Indianapolis. The Final Four this year is being hosted in Indianapolis, so we'll see if Miami basketball can make another run at it. So certainly it was good to see kind of some of these other things. I'm looking forward to seeing a few other venues before I leave town and get back to Miami. But wrapping up day 2, definitely appreciate everybody for watching these videos. Subscribe to the channel, plenty of content, plenty of updates tomorrow during the live update thread, but also have a VIP article with updates and more data from today. And I do want to pass along, Keontae Scott measured in 5'11", 193, which was good for him, I felt like. And then also, Jacobe Thomas, 6'1", 211. So those were the official measurements for them today. Looking forward to the offensive guys as now we switch to the offensive players. And I am looking forward to kind of watching a little bit of the tight ends before I get out here, but definitely drop in the comments below. Let me know what you think about these Miami guys and the other draft hopefuls here. So thanks again for watching. Have a good rest of the day, and take care.